The Grand Theater buzzed with hushed excitement. Tonight, the famous Mr. Leeds would perform. He was a man of mystery. Some called him a sorcerer. Others whispered he dealt with unseen forces. His posters promised wonders beyond belief. They showed him commanding spirits and making objects vanish into thin air. The gas lamps cast a warm, inviting glow upon the plush velvet seats. Every seat was filled with eager faces. They had come from far and wide. They all sought a glimpse of the impossible. It was a grand spectacle even before the curtain rose. Among the crowd sat Mr. Thomas Ashton. He was a journalist, known for his sharp mind. He did not believe in magic. He believed in facts, in logic, and in careful observation. Ashton had seen many tricksters. He had exposed several so-called mediums and charlatans. Tonight, he was here to watch Mr. Leeds. He intended to discover the secrets behind his famed illusions. He held his notebook tightly. His gaze was fixed upon the heavy, dark red curtain. He was ready to dissect every move, every word, every shadow. He felt a familiar thrill, the thrill of the hunt for truth. The orchestra played a soft, haunting melody. It added to the growing anticipation. People spoke in low voices. They shared stories they had heard of Mr. Leeds's incredible feats. Some claimed he could read minds. Others said he could speak with ghosts. The air itself seemed thick with expectation. The very fabric of reality felt thin. It was as if for one night, anything could happen. The grandeur of the theater only amplified this feeling. It was a stage set for miracles or for masterful deceit. Ashton remained skeptical. He adjusted his spectacles. Soon the lights began to dim. A hush fell over the entire audience. The orchestra's music swelled, then faded into silence. Only the faint rustle of clothing could be heard. A single spotlight illuminated the center of the stage. The heavy curtain shivered. It began to part slowly, majestically. The moment had arrived. Mr. Leeds was about to make his entrance. Ashton leaned forward slightly. His eyes, keen and analytical, were ready. He would not be fooled by mere theatrics. He was here for the mechanism, the trick, the human ingenuity behind the magic. Mr. Leeds did not appear on the grand stage immediately. Instead, he invited a select group. They were to join him in a smaller, more intimate chamber. This room was located backstage. It was said to be where his most profound mysteries unfolded. Ashton, due to his press credentials, was among those chosen. The chamber was dimly lit. Only a few flickering gas lamps lined the walls. Strange symbols were painted on the dark paneled wood. The air was cool and carried a faint, unidentifiable scent. It smelled like old books and something else, something exotic and faintly unsettling. The room was not large. Perhaps 20 people could fit comfortably. This close proximity, Mr. Leeds explained, was necessary. It allowed everyone to witness the phenomena clearly. There were no grand decorations here, no hidden mirrors on the walls, as far as Ashton could tell. Just the dark panels and the strange, unsettling symbols. The silence in this chamber was deeper. It was more profound than in the main theater. It pressed in on the guests. They looked around with wide, curious eyes. Some clutched their hands nervously. The atmosphere was deliberately crafted. It was made to heighten the senses and stir the imagination. At the center of this eerie room stood a single table. It was an old table made of dark, heavy oak. It looked sturdy and plain. There were no curtains or drapes around it, nothing to conceal any hidden mechanisms beneath, or so it seemed at first glance. Mr. Leeds gestured towards it. He spoke in a low, calm voice. He explained that this table was his only instrument for the coming demonstration. The simplicity of the setting was disarming. It made the idea of trickery seem more difficult. Ashton's eyes, however, missed nothing. He noted the way the shadows played. The other guests gathered in a semicircle. They kept a respectful distance from the table. Mr. Leeds stood calmly beside it. He was a tall man with piercing eyes and long, nimble fingers. He wore simple, dark clothing. There were no flowing sleeves to hide doves or handkerchiefs. His presence was commanding. Yet, he spoke with a gentle tone. He invited scrutiny. He asked his audience to watch closely. Ashton took a position where he could see both the magician and the table clearly. He was determined to understand. He felt the familiar pull of a puzzle waiting to be solved. This was his element. Mr. Leeds began by drawing everyone's attention to the table. "Observe, ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice echoing slightly. "A simple table. Solid oak, as you can see." He rapped his knuckles upon its surface. The sound was dull and solid. There was no hollow echo. He invited a gentleman from the audience to inspect it. The man, a portly merchant, ran his hands along the top. He even peered underneath. He declared it an ordinary table. Nothing more, nothing less. Ashton watched this performance carefully. He knew such inspections could be part of the act itself. They could be misdirection. The surface of the table was bare, except for a small, unadorned wooden box. It sat directly in the center, and a single unlit candle in a plain brass holder. Mr. Leeds did not touch these items yet. He first wanted to establish the table's innocence. He walked around it slowly. He allowed everyone to view it from all angles. "There are no hidden wires, no secret compartments that I have not shown," he stated. His gaze met Ashton's for a fleeting moment. It was a gaze that held a challenge. Or perhaps Ashton thought it was merely confidence in his craft. The journalist made mental notes. He noted the grain of the wood. He observed the way the dim light reflected from its polished surface. Ashton considered the possibilities. Could the floorboards be rigged? Unlikely in this old building. Could there be an assistant hidden somehow? The room was small. Every shadow was accounted for. The table legs were thick and plainly carved. They offered no obvious hiding place. He thought about the construction of such tables. Magicians were clever. They were engineers of deceit. Perhaps the tabletop itself was specially made. Perhaps it had a secret spring or a hidden panel. Too small for a person, but maybe for a device. He wished he could touch it himself. He longed to apply his own tests. Mr. Leeds continued his preamble. He spoke of the veil between worlds. He talked of unseen energies that surrounded them. His words were poetic. They were designed to create a mood of wonder and mystery. The other guests were clearly captivated. Their faces were turned towards the magician. They hung on his every word. Ashton, however, focused on the physical. He watched Leeds's hands. He observed his posture. He looked for any telltale signs of manipulation. The table remained the centerpiece. It was the foundation upon which the illusion would be built. Ashton knew its secrets were key. He was certain